What's going on, YouTubers? For ladies and gentlemen, it's the Natural Scream Filler. Wow, how long has it been since I haven't done an NXT review or since to the WWE? If I really can't recall, folks, I gotta look back at it just to remind myself when was the last time I did one. But I remember it was somewhere last year before I decided to end it, and it was during the pandemic too. So, well, nevertheless, welcome everyone to WWE NXT review, the show from September 14th, 2021. Um, I bel I believe it's in Orlando, Florida, which I'm pretty sure that's where it was. Pertains to the where it used to be called the Performance Center, now called the Capitol Wrestling Center since last year. Um, just give me a moment. I'm responding now. What is this, sir? Yeah, I figure it's not responding right now. Let me just try to refresh this again. There we go. Let me get that out of the way. It's probably gonna tell me to close up the tab the rest of it, yeah. Since it's not gonna respond. But your commentators, let me first get them out of the way. You have Vic Joseph having her own commentary for a long time. Um Wade Barrett, who used to be a commentator for NWA until unfortunately the pandemic changed everything. And you got Beth Phoenix. I remember seeing her commentary before. And unfortunately, there's no more Nigel McGuinness, no more Mauro Ranallo on commentary with pertains to being alongside with Beth Phoenix. Now you got Wade Barrett, Vic Joseph on commentary. Um, let's see here. Let's give one moment, folks. Right now, again, I'm getting the results right now. So yes, this will be not only pertains to NXT. This is the NXT that's gonna be run no longer by Triple H. It's now being run by the powers that be of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, John Laurinaitis. I don't know if Kevin Dunn is also involved in this too, but based on the camera works, not I don't think so because we're since the WWE camera works, the shaky cameras and everything. I barely see any shaky cameras on this NXT show, which by the way, this NXT is NXT 2.0 with a new logo, and I'm pretty yeah sure already know what's that already all about, you know. But yeah, that's basically what's going on. And right now, I'm waiting for something to happen here, and it's happening right now. So I'm about to get through everything that happened on the show here. Before I get to that point, let's talk about this one thing first. When it comes to Samoa Joe, who was fired by the WWE, this from this year, around April, due to budget cuts and everything from the main roster. All of a sudden, Triple H, swooped him up because he had no idea that Samoa Joe was one of the firings. And Pertains to Nick Khan, Vince, Vince McMahon, Kevin. I won't say Kevin Dunn. He has no say in all this, of any kind. But I meant to say John Laurinaitis, I should say. Um, Pertains to the firings of us of like from WWE from this past year. And folks, I bear with me here because it is not cooperating right now for a reason. Identifying. Okay. I don't know why it was identifying. It says it's connected, so I don't see or understand what's the problem here. Okay, so looks like I gotta do something else here. But let's get to Smojo's once before we get to the review itself. Um, First off, Smojo being the NXT champion, defeating Karrion Cross from the Takeover show. Was it Takeover 36? It was, I believe it was. And after that, Smojo hasn't had a match since being Karrion Cross, because Karrion Cross has been moved to the main roster. And and unfortunately, Karrion Cross moved to the main roster. He is not having any luck on that show because they decided to make him a joke out of him for whatever reason. And on top of that, no Scarlett with him, no Lady Scarlett there. But yeah, not got the results here. But as far as Samoa Joe, he made an announcement, before the show, pertains to basically Samoa Joe had to relinquish the title because of a history of injuries. Hmm. Even though Samoa Joe was fine, when it came to his match against Karrion Cross, from Takeover 36, nothing about his injuries, at when coming out of that show. So I don't understand what injury is he talking about. He didn't mention no injuries what at all that he's going through right now. But is it a concussion? Is it um his injury from his thumb or from his fingers, whatever? Maybe from his ankle? Because those are all the histories of his of injuries I remember of him having when he went to main roster. Um, Other than that, I don't know what the injuries they're talking about with Samoa Joe, unless it's a neck injury. But I doubt that because because Mojo said in the video that he said he's going to relinquish the title and says whoever may be the champion, he's going to be coming for them. Now I don't know if Mojo is coming back, to face the NXT champion because this is no longer under the influence and control of Triple H. This is now under the influence and control of Vince McMahon, Kevin Dunn, John Laurinaitis, that are now in charge of this new NXT called NXT 2.0. The stage itself was great. Looks great. The setting itself is great. The atmosphere of it looks great. With lots of lightings and everything. It's a nice flow to the show. It's basically that it's like I'm trying to be like the main rosters in a way. And obviously it's gonna be a book of the main roster too, which we'll get to that when we get to it. But as far as Samoa Joe, back to him, is that Samoa Joe, yeah, I find it very odd, very suspicious, very weird, strange that um, with this man being in charge of NXT, it's Mojo being the NXT champion. And as we see in Mojo in WWE, he was now a wrestler, and at that point he was a commentator, and then he ends up being fired. And now here's in NXT when he was given a role where he's going to be, basically the what Stone Cold was when he was the general manager. Except he was, Mojo wasn't the general manager. He was like a guy who's going to be the enforcer, and and he cannot get physical with any other rosters unless he's been provoked. That's something that Stone Cold did. They did with Stone Cold from 2003, I should say. And here's he has Mojo have that same thing too on NXT, and now he's in a position where because he was involved where he got promoted by Karrion Cross, it led to a build between him and Karrion Cross for Takeover, where Samoa Joe got a shot at the NXT Championship title match. Um, and and then we got to that match where Samoa Joe won, and Samoa Joe continues on being NXT champion to stay on NXT while Karrion Cross moves on to the main roster, you know, and now he's relinquished the title because of history injuries that came up and I say to myself, yeah, I don't think it's that at all. I think it's just a man saying to Samoa Joe that he's done. And we'll get to who else who I think is going to be done too. When we get to him as well, and someone else too, pertains to the expiration of their contracts. That'll be for later though. So with Samoa Joe being out of the picture of being NXT champion, now we need a new NXT champion, and it's going to lead to a four-way match between Tommaso Ciampa, LA Knight, Pete Dunne, and Kyle O'Reilly. And we'll get to how that ended up happening when we get to that match, which should have been the main event, and that should close up the show. But we'll get to what happened with how the show closed. So that being said, let's get right to this review. So they first show a video package of Tommaso Ciampa talking about you know wanting to get Goldie back. Daddy Ciampa, he wants Goldie back. And that is the NXT Championship. Pete Dunne talking about his opportunity to become NXT champion. Kyle O'Reilly talks about his opportunity again, to go after the NXT Championship. And then you got LA Knight, to talk about getting his opportunity of the NXT Championship. Also, he gets interrupted by Braun Breaker. And you're saying to yourself, who is Braun Breaker? When you first see him, you're thinking to yourself, oh, this guy looks good. He looks like a wrestler and everything. Obviously because the way he's built and everything, but still, but he looked like he's got something. He's got potential. So Braun Breaker, uh, basically is Bronson or Rick Steiner. Basically, he's the son of a wrestling legend known as Rick Steiner of the Steiner brothers, and they did have a name for him. Of what I heard, they wanted to call him Rex Steiner. Rex Steiner. Um, and I'm like, yeah, that's a good name to have. Except they didn't go with that name at all. They said because someone decided to go with a different name, and that name is Braun Breaker. So Braun Breaker is the name they decided to go with. Am I crazy about the name? Not really. It's just a name that they came up with out of a paper bag or a papers and that's in the hat that they put out, and that's what you got. So Braun Breaker is the name of this guy, and he's wearing the singlets just like how the Steinbros once were back in the 90s, and I like it, and I like this guy too. Minus the name, um, and we're chance to LA Knight have a match here against Braun Breaker and Simmons Women. And he's supposed to have a match later on. We're chance to go to the NXT Championship, and he's already having this match against Braun Breaker. So we'll get to that when we get once we get to everything happening here. So yeah, new NXT and intro, new new logo, new stage, new everything about NXT because this is the rebranding of NXT because they failed to beat AEW of their momentum, since 2019, and 2021 was the final nail in the coffin when they no longer been doing shows on Wednesdays and now doing it on Tuesdays. And bottom line is NXT never even stood a chance, and never had a chance against NXT never had a chance against AEW at all. Period. Cut and dry. Um, and at the end of the day, you know, pertains to the show itself taking control by Vince McMahon, and even beforehand, where you have wrestlers can losing their jobs, not just wrestlers but other staffs out also got fired from NXT as well. Um, it's basically WWE's way to punish them, or should I say, Vince McMahon's way to punish them. Because they didn't beat AEW because they never consider AEW competition. Bullshit. And they basically they wanted to counter our program and AEW for everything they try to do. Even Triple H should have known better. But then again, I don't feel sorry for Triple H. I don't feel bad for Triple H because at the end of the day, as soon as I've forgotten what Triple H said at the Hall of Fame in 2019, calling AEW a pinsand / t-shirt company that's gonna put out of business and then rehire guys from guys that goes AW to WWE and then fire them. Kamara is a bitch, isn't that right, Triple H? You got what you fucking deserve. and this is what you get. Working NXT right now. Well, at least NXT UK is fine. Maybe Triple H can run the NXT Japan that he wanted to do. You know, will that happen? I don't know. It's up to him. But at the end of the day, does it really matter at the end of the day? I don't know. But yeah, that being said, let's get onto the show. So the opening match was LA Knight versus Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker looked impressive. It was back and forth between the two guys, and surprisingly, Braun Breaker defeats LA Knight, giving a press into a front power slam, which is it was pretty nice the way he did it, and got the win. I was not expecting that. Here you got LA Knight, who's established, even before he went to obviously before he came at the WWE, um where with him being named elsewhere, like with tends to having the name of Eli Drake, and here he is, back in in WWE on NXT versus him being with a new name, LA Knight, but with the same character and everything, but with a different name, and, and he's skyrocketing pertains to what he can do as a character, as a wrestler, and what he can bring to the table with potential and all that, because he has potential. He's very good, and we get to his new NXT thing where he's already having his first loss on the new NXT of NXT 2.0 to a rookie. Let's call it this. He lost to a rookie, a newcomer on NXT, to anyone that doesn't even know who he is. I'm pretty sure no one doesn't know who he is until unless you do a background of him to know who he is. And but hey, he got good impression and people loved him. They did love him. So, and we'll get to more of him later on, by the way, folks. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, he got the win, and that was the first match of NXT 2.0. After the match, you see Braun Breaker is being congratulated by a couple of other NXT stars from of all newcomers there. Basically giving him props and everything, and yeah, and there'll be more of him later on, which we'll get to that. Then we get to Imperium, which is Marcel Bardell and Fabian Eichner, who looks great, by the way. They both look great, by the way, as a matter of fact. In great condition. You look at the chisel and all, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Because I mean, I always thought they looked in good shape before, but in the way they look up right now, they look incredible. They look jacked. I don't know what they're on, but boy, did they chisel pretty well on this one. But they were up against the new teams that I don't know who they are. One of them is Josh Briggs, and the other one's name is Brooks on Jensen. Now, one of them is supposed to be the the son of Blue Buchanan. At and that's a ring right now. The guy, and by the way, we're testing these tag teams. They look at their hillbillies. I mean they're not real actual hillbillies. But I think more like rednecks in a way because of the way they talk. Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen. But of what we're reading here right here, Jensen is who is Ben Buchanan. So I'm assuming that he's the one who is the son of Boo Buchanan. If anyone remembers Boo Buchanan from the days of the Attitude Era, when he was with the Big Boss Man, and then he hasn't been with Right to Censor, and then he hasn't been with John Cena. If anyone remembers that, with him being B2 Square, and yeah, and I always thought he was good. Back in those days, Boo Buchanan. I always thought he was good. But yeah, his son there now. In the WWE right now on NXT. So they're having this match. Basically, and what's right here is a cowboy western gimmicks that these guys are doing right now against these tag team against Imperium. But yeah, as far as the match was, it was pretty good. I enjoyed the match for what it was. In the end, it was Imperium getting the win. Um, Basically, it was like a double underhook superplex from the top rope with Fabian Eichner going for the cover after that. I actually remember if Fabian Eichner did something afterwards too, but no, I actually he did. He distracted Briggs, which led to Marcel Bardell to capitalize on it, the double underhook superplex off the top rope. It was pretty nice the way it was done too. So yeah, Imperium gets the win. There was no Walter on the show, which I'm waiting for that time, for him to come. More pertains to him being on this man's uh tutoring of tutorer of NXT, use this new NXT, and I want to see how he's gonna be amused like he was being amused back in 2019 when he was part of the Survivor Series team for NXT and he lost. Being eliminated the way he dealt the way he that they did. Despite him having the crowd reactions that I was not expecting at that time, and then see him getting eliminated like that in the way that they did. Oh, I can't wait to see how they treat him on NXT here. Bad time for Walter being on NXT where pertains to having his band be in charge. But then again, what doesn't matter anymore? Doesn't really matter anymore. Um, who knows what's gonna happen afterwards? But I digress. Um, Hit Row. Now I've been heard about Hit Row before on the Lex Man's or Alex's channel. Pertains to Saw Muscle Sounds Off podcast and yeah, Hit Row. Basically the first time I see them, and I know who's one though, obviously, Isaiah Swerve Scott, and the other one is B Fab, who was a woman. And yeah, these other two, I don't remember who their names were, but I'm pretty sure it's listed there. But I'll get that later. But when I first saw them, my first time seeing them, I think to myself, Empire. If you remember the TV show on Fox, where it tends to do music, betray with Terrence Howard. That's what Hit Row reminds me of. They remind me of the TV series Empire, which great show by the way, great show. But that's the vibe I got with what it takes that whole thing. So we get to B BFAB, which it's Brianna Brandy. Um, but yeah, but they came out and and I love the music, by the way. I love I love I basically I love how they looked. Even when they had that backstage their own studio they were in. I thought it was cool. So I like them so far. Um, Now thanks to Isaiah Scott, who's the NXT North American champion, he's always been great. Even in Lucha Underground when he was Kill Shot, he's always been great. Um, and in the other name he had two, Shane Dorso. No, sorry, that's someone else I'm thinking about. But yeah, another name before he became Isaiah Scott. But either way, he's great too. Um, but the other ones are Ashani the Adonis, Ashanti the Adonis, and you got Top Dollar, AJ Francis. And again, pertains to BFAB, she looks cute, and she's these type of girls that I've seen in person and even on TV. Um, so she went up against Catherine, excuse me, Catherine Cortez, who's a luchadora, and they have a match. And BFAB, well, since her wrestling, and especially the way she did the stomp in the corner, which was the way it was very awkward the way she did it. But basically, my first time seeing her wrestle, not impressed, not impressed at all, and she got the win. She won with and of all moves she won with a neck breaker. I mean, it's basically the rude awakening. Well, shaking the hips. And yeah, but yeah, not impressive. I was not impressed BFAB in the ring. After the match though, they cut a promo, Hit Row. All of a sudden, you had uh Legado El Fantasma is the faction where it tends to this newcomer part of this whole faction called with her name being Electra Lopez. I don't know who she is, but I like her. Um, but she cut a promo to BFAB and returns the other members. You have obviously what was it? Joaquin, yeah, Joaquin Wild. Um, Raul Mendoza, yeah, Raul Mendoza, and obviously Santos Escobar, which who's El Fantasma. Well, the master. Um, so yeah, so I heard about this factions that are going at each other and everything. I don't know ain't much of it because I'm a casual coming into this, so I want to know the feud, how this even happened. And I'm thinking myself, when it tends to Legado El Fantasma, the faction, they're a heel faction, and which is a hit roll. I'm pretty sure they're a heel faction too because last I heard of Isaiah Swerve Scott, he's a heel. So you got a heel faction go up against a heel faction. Not saying it can't work because I don't care either way. Um, but if you ask me who's the heel in all this, I gotta go with Hit Roll here. I think Hit Roll are the heels here. So we'll see how that turns out. And I'm not just saying that because I'm Latino. Don't get it twisted there. Um, but yeah, let's see. I want to see what Electra. Yeah, this Electra Lopez is all about. As far as again with B Fab, maybe show one more to me. But of watching her in the ring so far, not impressed. Cameron Grimes was backstage with John Gargano. Um, Odyssey Jones. Odyssey Jones. Yeah, I remember now. The name of Ozzy Jones. Um, he basically was one of the guys that was in the NXT breakout tournaments for this year. Don't really know much about him other than I heard about, of his name, and there you go. Basically, these are the best men's. I mean, these are the groom. The men's for Dexter Loomis for his for the wedding, which we'll get to later. Um, and then you had Austin Theory come in as well. He's also part of the wedding. And then you had the WWE United States Champion from Raw, Damian Priest, who makes his NXT return just for that one night because of the wedding. And there you go. That was a segment. And moving on. Basically, it's going to lead to a wedding segment. So, hey, yeah, I know how I feel about freaking wedding segments and freaking pro wrestling. Just saying. Carmelo Hayes comes out with Trick Williams, which I'm just going to call him by Trick. He was once called Matrick Belton. I guess that was his Indian name. Who knows? Um, but yeah, Carmelo Hayes. I heard that this guy won the tournament of the breakout tournament, and I remember last what I heard with the breakout tournament thing, which is NXT. Winners gets an opportunity for a title shot, any type of title shots they want. Remember, Jordan Miles got the title shot, and he chose the NXT Championship title match against Alan Cole, and he lost. And then after that, we never saw him again because of what he said and what he was acting like a fucking idiot, for the culture. Just saying. And fuck Jordan Miles, who's ACH by the way. Fuck ACH. But yeah, but Carmelo Hayes. My first look of him, he's got something. I like him. And Trick, he's I think he's got something too. One time will tell. Um, Samantha Ivan, who was in the ring, I guess she was interviewing them. I don't know who she is. I think she's a ring announcer. I don't know, unless I'm thinking about someone else. Isn't Alicia this girl named Alicia, whatever, is the ring announcer for NXT? Uh, unless just Samantha Ivan is just or interview or whatever. But basically, Hayes talks about how he won the tournament. He's targeting and he has a target on his back and everything. He says, and then he talks about how he realized that this number game is 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 so um Big Weber, so he decided to call his friend Trick. And then Hayes was about how where to go from here. Trix goes when he eats. Trix goes he's and basically Trix eats, and when he pulls on, Trix pulls on. When Trix gets the microphone, he starts talking. He says that he was born with a gift of gap, and he's proud of Hayes and calling him a golden child of NXT. And Trix says that he's got a bone to pick with Hayes. Said that he asks of who's this new humble Hayes is when they mused to be about and take names. Hayes says that he's right and no more holding back. It's too hard to be this good and this humble. So basically, this is not the Carmelo Hayes that Tricks know uh, of because with him being on an extender thing because he wants to see the Carmelo Hayes that he know for a long time. You know, so after leaving the ring, you basically guarantee they're gonna have a towel around his waist. Says that he is the golden child. He's the chosen one. So he's Drew McIntyre from what year that was when Drew McIntyre called himself the chosen one? Was it what 2010 or 2011? One of those years. Had to be 2010. Either that or 2009. But I digress. But he says when he shoots, he doesn't miss, and if he chooses to pass it, Trick will receive it. Trick says that that's all it's gonna be, and then the music hits. All of a sudden, some guy's music hit, and it's Duke Hudson. Who is he? Don't know. Just like I don't know who Carmelo is, Carmelo Hayes. Just like I don't know who Trix is. Basically, Duke Hayes was disrespecting them. Give a passion, pass by them. And Trick's like, you gonna let them do that to you like that? If you won't do anything, I'll do something about it. And then he attacks basically, Trix attacks Duke, and then Carmelo goes in tag along with them. They beat him down basically, and that's basically what it was. A beat down. Basically don't cross them. So Gigi Dolan and Jassy Jane, I think that's her name. And they're backstage with Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose was not shown from her face. It was shown from her back, where basically not shown from her front. Shown from her because I heard about the storyline of what they're doing with her, which is her face being messed up, whatever. Where she's wearing a hoodie, and basically, that's basically a teaser of what we're going to see of Mandy Rose, which we'll get to that when we get to it. Because next we get to Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter versus Gigi Dolan and Jassy Jane. So that it'll start for us as a tag match at first. All of a sudden, a hooded woman, which it was Mandy Rose, attacks Casey Catanzaro from the top rope, causing a DQ, and then she reveals herself, and Mandy Rose with a new look, no more blonde hair, she's got a brunette, and I thought she looked great, and she's got a tan, she looks great, and basically this is the new and improved Mandy Rose with a mean streak, looking more meaner than ever with a brunette, tan. Oh my god, I love. I am in love. And also we get Saray ran down to help out, and then we go commercial break. We come back commercial break, and we had a 6 women's tag team match. And I see myself, yep, this is definitely the main roster. Booking like of this, of Vince McMahon. If you need proof that NXT 2.0 is in charge by Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, Bruce Pritchard, Exhibit A right there. Not just because how the show is and everything, but with more lights and everything, and it looks decked out, brand new stuff that's making NXT looks like really NXT 2.0, and you see someone like a Braun Breaker who's not a indie guy who's not about flipping and kicking. You don't see much of flipping on the show here. No aerial attacks of any kind. None of that stuff that retains to what NXT used to be beforehand. Um, and then you see this happening with a tag team match at first, and now it's a 6-person tag team match. Wow, like how we never said that before in the main roster before, right? On NXT. Well, in fact, I don't recall I've ever seen that happen on NXT before in the past. So this happens. So you have Saray, Cassie Catanzaro, and Kaden Carter versus Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane. And the match happens, and I thought it was good. If you ask me, I thought this match was better than the match that BFAB had earlier on that night. And Mandy Rose, by the way, Mandy Rose looked good in this match. She looked like she improved, which is why you need to, if you could bring back Mandy Rose to NXT to develop her wrestling, which I thought her wrestling on the show was good. If you could bring Mandy Rose back to NXT to develop her wrestling to actually get better in the ring, and she did, and improve, then you could do the same thing with Carmella, and you could do and you especially could do the same thing with Nia Jax. Just saying. Because Mandy Rose improved like no other. Ever since she was called back to NXT, which was about what, a month ago or two, it just shows that she has has improved a lot since her days on the main roster. Which I'm not saying she was that bad on the main roster, but at the same time wasn't wasn't polished. And on top of that, she um even though with her not being that polished, I would rather see Mandy Rose in the ring wrestle than Eva Marie. If you ask me, which are the main roster women's I'll watch between Mandy Rose and Eva Marie wrestle, I'll go with Mandy Rose. Despite her not being that good in the ring. But now with Mandy Rose being back on NXT and really develop a lot more of what she can improve and what she can polish as well. Yes, give me Mandy Rose 10 times wrestling on WWE programming than Eva Marie. And Mandy Rose got the win for her team. She won with the big knee. Basically basically the move she always done before. I don't remember if that was actually her official move before, but basically the big pump, the big pump on knee strike that she does. Even Sheamus does it too. Basically it's like the bro kick. That's basically what it was. It was like the bro kick that Mandy Rose did, but instead of her foot, it was her knee, and she got the win by being Carter, Kaden Carter. So yeah, I love this new look of Mandy Rose, and Mandy Rose is carrying this faction that they have right now, and Gigi Dolan is the former Priscilla Kelly. As far as JC Jane, I don't know who she is, to be honest with you. So we look at Indy Hartwell and her bridesmaids. Cancer Ray was one of them. I don't remember who else was the other bridesmaids. And Cancer Ray, by the way, you could see her lady bump because she's pregnant. Congratulations to Gargano and Lorray. So Rich Holland versus Drake Madrick. Oh yeah, Alicia Taylor is the ring announcer. So Rich Holland basically destroy Drake Madrick in this match. And also before the match even started, by the way, when Regal um hmm, actually I can't remember when did this happen. Oh yeah, there's something to bring up, folks. I can't remember where did it actually happen. Was it during this match or was it during the tag team match for the women's? Oh, okay. It happened during this match. So it happened during the match between Rich Holland and Drake Magic, where Kyle O'Reilly was getting, is training, warm up for his match for the main event, until he was attacked by Pete Dunne and Uh, Rich Holland, I think, right? Yeah, Rich. Now I don't know if it was during this match because it wouldn't make any sense for me to bring that up where Rich Holland is wrestling Nick Magic. Unless it was a footage I was recorded from earlier, where I don't know. Unless it happened during the match of the women's matches. I'm assuming. I'm assuming that's where it happened. But you see Kyle Riley on game beat up by you know Pete Dunne and Rich Holland that and they're together now. And some guy walks in to help out Kyle Riley. Don't know who he is. Don't know who he was. He's new to me, you know. And on top of that, it was on the surveillance camera so we couldn't really tell if who he is. Unless anyone knew who he was beforehand. But but they did reveal who he was. But we'll get to that later because Winrigo decided to make an announcement because Mackenzie Mitchell is interviewing Winrigo, the NXT general manager, and Winrigo says due to the attacks that Kyle Riley had from Pete Dunne and Rich Holland because Rich Holland had that the shillelagh or something that he carries with him. Because I guess that means Kyle Riley was is he's no longer clear to compete, and Rodriguez decided to reward uh this guy who saved Kyle Riley backstage to be the one to take his place. And I said to myself, huh? Wait, you told me a guy we don't know who he is. He's never wrestled on NXT before. We've never seen him wrestle a period, and you're giving him this opportunity. So basically, and on top of that, you kick Kyle Riley to the curve because you want to replace him with someone who's bigger than Kyle Riley and muscular than Kyle Riley, who doesn't have the size like who doesn't have the size like Kyle Riley because obviously this guy that replaced Kyle Riley is bigger, more muscular, and has a better presentation because Kyle Riley is a small guy. Wow, if that right there didn't tell you that this is this man's show for NXT now, I don't know what else to tell you. All the what happened later on, which we'll get to as well. So, and yeah, we were going to mention his name, but I didn't really catch his name. So, but I'll get to it. I'll get to his name later. Because I really couldn't hear the name of it. Because as I was watching with Sage of the Sixth Path and the Drew J from Tuesday. I didn't catch his name, so I did catch his name when it pertains to the announcement for the main event. We'll get to when we get to it. I mean, the main event match, I should say. But as far as what end of the show, we'll get to that. What end of the show? But yeah, Rich Holland won the match against Drake Magic. It was a squash. So, and if you ask me, what thinks of Kyle Riley being replaced by this guy, I think Kyle Riley is done. And if you ask me, what thinks of Drake Magic, I think he's done too. Um, because this man's not gonna take small guys unless they want to use them to But I mean, you can use Drake Magic to bury use Drake Magic for if it's meant to bury Drake Magic with potential to having him just be a jobber. So Mackenzie Mitchell, she's backstage with Tommaso Ciampa, talks about the new NXT, and everyone is fighting for a spot. He talks about how long he's been on NXT, and he had the NXT title. Goldie says that tonight he reclaims. I mean, tonight is his redemption. Basically, which is to gain Goldie back. So we get Diamond Mine coming out. Now I heard about all this whole thing about Diamond Mine that's led by Malcolm Bivens, and we had also someone like a Roderick Strong in that faction. He had someone else that was part of that faction too, but he was fired. he was one of those guys that got cut from NXT a while back. But yeah, but you also have the Creed brothers here. You have Julius Creed and Brutus Creed, and these guys look at their these they're amateur wrestlers based because of the singlets, and then hearing about one of them being either I think both of them are an All American, but one of them ends up being a two-time All American. I don't remember who it was, but another member of of Dynamite. Despite being one of the guys got fired, who's part of the faction Dynamite. Now they end up fixing the faction here. So the faction I thought the faction was going to be dead in the water, but after seeing this new recruit, I could definitely see that the Dynamite is going to be a force to be reckoned with on NXT 2.0, replacing basically with Kyle Riley, I mean not Kyle Riley, represents to Roger Strong, replacing of the Undisputed Era thing, because there's no more Alan Cole, there's no more Bobby Fish, and Kyle Riley doing his own thing, and now Roger Strong is in a new faction here called the Diamond Mine, and you have this woman here too, by the way, who looks intimidating, who looks striking. I don't remember where what they said she was from, but I like her. I like the presence of her, and her name I think is Hashimin. I don't know, but she looks good. She looks good though. She looks great. Um, she look at an MMA fighter, but based how she carries herself, and she's jacked by the way. She is jacked. She's more jacked than Big Swole is. Just saying. Um, but basically, oh yeah, so yeah, the Creed brothers are when they went against some tag team of Dan Jarman and Trevor Skelly, as I say, and the Creed brothers won by the way. Um, now I don't remember before or after it happened, but I think it was before the match. But I digress. There was a video vignette of this guy named Tony D'Angelo, who looks like he's from Italy because of his accent. He's speaking in an Italian accent, and basically he's like he's talking like he's from the mafia or something like that. Now I don't know what he's gonna be about, but just how he looks and everything, I like him. We'll see what he brings to the table. But yeah, but the back to the Creed Bros one, we had Diamond kind of promo. Actually, I don't remember if they did kind of promo. Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was Malcolm Bibbins who says basically he puts over the Creed brothers and then introduced the newest member of the Titan games. Uh, but yeah, basically just she's from the Titan games. Oh yeah, okay. So I got her name wrong. I guess so someone else's name that I thought. Oh yeah, Hachiman is oh yeah, Hachiman is not is that Chinese guy I met this yeah, my fault. It was a Chinese guy who's Hachiman. The woman though that I was talking about, her name is Ivy Nail. That's the one I'm talking about. Is the one who's in there. So yeah, so you got the Creed brothers, Roderick Strong, um I already forget to say his name now. Hetchman and Ivy Nail. So and obviously being led by Malcolm Bivens. And yes, she's from the former Titan games. Um, and I'm assuming based on what I'm reading here, her competition her competitioner name was Emily and Zulus. I'm assuming. But because she's in WWE, she's got to go with with the WWE name, which is the name they gave her right here is Ivy Nail, which I don't mind the name by the way. I think the name is is very good. All of a sudden, Kushida, the NXT Cruiserweight Champion, comes out and he basically called out Roderick Strong for a match, anytime, anywhere, that. But it's not going to be until next week's show of NXT. So yeah, we'll see what that one how that turns out. There was a segment, hyping up the wedding, which they're calling it the InDex wedding. I need to change the title of this video, by the way. We're saying to this NXT review. This NXT 2.0 review. But Faye Joseph asked Beth Phoenix, how is Edge doing after the attack that happened on SmackDown with Seth Rollins? She says he's resting at home, and that she'll and says that she wants to she wants to say much of it, but yeah, there you go. Then we get to the main event match for the NXT Vacant Championship. The vacant title that's been relinquished by Samoa Joe. The fatal four-way match between Pete Dunne versus Tommaso Ciampa versus LA Knight versus the guy that replaced Kyle O'Reilly, which I think is the wrong decision. But this man's NXT now, so who cares anymore? A guy named Von Wagner. So this guy Von Wagner, who is the former Carl Bloom, who's the son of former WWE star Wayne Bloom. Now I think to myself, who the hell is Wayne Bloom? So maybe do this, folks. So I'm assuming if this is who I think it is, which I doubt it is, but we'll see. Let me Google it first. All right, give me one more, folks. I have to copy it again. Let's try again. There we go. Looks familiar. Let me see a picture of him. Wayne Bloom. I can kind of see the resemblance, sort of, what tends to Wayne Bloom for this guy Carl Bloom. I don't recall him in the Royal Rumble back in the day, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I can't see no resemblance of Wayne of Wayne Bloom and his son here, Carl Bloom. Yeah, I really have. I mean, I kind of recognize him, but I really have no memory of him at all. Not even back in the days of WCW. Damn. I, I got no memory of it whatsoever. But hey, that's who he is, though. But as far as his son goes, who's going by the name of Von Wagner, when I saw him, he to me he had a mixture of his facial look of Matt Riddle and the Great Khali. Like if Matt Riddle and Great Khali had a son, that's who Von Wagner would be. He would be the illegitimate son of Matt Riddle and Great Khali. With Matt Riddle's look and Great Khali's forehead's eyebrow shape of skull, whatever. My God. Now, as far as him being in the match, crowd was booing him because they didn't want him to be in the match. And on top of that, I say to myself, well, you were the same fans that were booing Kyle O'Reilly back on NXT TakeOver 36 against Adam Cole. And now that you have Kyle O'Reilly no longer in the picture of there, this is what you get. this is what you get now. So live with it, deal with it. Now I got to deal with it too, by the way, folks, um because I would have been fine either way of the four guys who I want to win here. Now, if you ask me who I want to win here, it was either Pete Dunne or LA Knight, and then Ciampa came third. Um, and Kyle O'Reilly will be my fourth choice because let's face it, even with Kyle O'Reilly being the choice of who should have won, this man ain't gonna go with Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, because look at his size. You think this man's gonna go with someone like a Kyle O'Reilly to be his NXT champion on his new NXT show of NXT 2.0? Are you kidding me? You would think he would have LA Knight win this match too, by the way, because LA Knight's got he's got the look. And I thought like with him losing earlier on that night too, I thought he was gonna get the win, but instead they gave it to someone else. And also, LA Knight was bleeding the match too, by the way. So I think from there they must have called an audible because LA Knight was bleeding, and because of this man's new NXT thing, you can't allow blood on the new NXT. So so much for LA Knights getting that one too. And I'm pretty sure he paid a fine too, by the way. But Pete Dunne looked great. LA Knight looked great. Um, Von Wagner, my first time looking at him, it wasn't that bad. I think he's got potential, but at the same time, you put him in the position of getting a shot because he saved Kyle O'Reilly, and that's how he should be rewarded instead of having matches of to even earn the opportunity to eventually to be in a championship match for the NXT championship. Are you kidding me? And I think that's one of the problems of why the fans boo him too, because he's been shoehorned into this position that he doesn't deserve yet. At least blow him up first before you do something like that. Even if you were to debut him months ago instead of debuting him right here on the show where Kyle O'Reilly got jumped and everything. At least Kyle O'Reilly was well established, but Von Wagner, no one knows who this guy is. They're not gonna root for a guy because he's sick Kyle O'Reilly you know and because he looked good in this match. Yeah, he looked good in the match in there, by the way. But but at the same time, no one's gonna it's gonna was gonna be behind him of winning. And they teased on him winning a couple of times. And I said to myself, don't do it. You're gonna set yourself up for failure if you do. For a guy that who's coming in, we have no clue who he is, and you're gonna have him win the NXT Championship title. No, it's not gonna work that way. You'll drive people away or no longer watching these shows anymore. Despite everything you're doing here is new with NXT. So lucky he didn't win. Neither did LA Knight. Pete Dunne was great in this match as well. Tommaso Ciampa, he's always great as well. Um, in the end, it was of all people getting the win here. It was someone that I wasn't expecting to win, but at the same time, I wasn't mad that he won because with the fairy tale ending, I believe it was to Von Wagner who took the loss here. I'm assuming. Was on last year? It was LA Knight who took the loss here. Um, so yeah, LA Knight lost not once but twice on that show, and on top of that, losing to Tommaso Ciampa here in the fairy tale ending to become the new NXT champion. Not that now. Here's the thing with Tommaso Ciampa, he is the second ever two-time. No, actually, I'm sorry. That's he's the third ever two-time, I should say, because the first two-time NXT champion was Samoa Joe, and then it was Shinsuke Nakamura, who's the second two-time NXT champion, and I got the third two-time NXT champion, Tommaso Ciampa, because Samoa Joe at this point out is the first ever three-time NXT champion, just like he's the first two-time NXT champion. So that's Sami Zayn tried to be at one point, but then he got called up. So It was unfortunate. Um, but yeah, Tommaso Ciampa is the winner, which means Daddy Ciampa has gotten Goldie back. So yes, Goldie, Daddy is home. Yo, so Goldie is back home. Goldie, I should say. I think I said Daddy. So Goldie's back home with Daddy Ciampa. And I'm not mad at that. I like that. I actually like the idea of just Tommaso Ciampa being the NXT champion for this new edition of NXT. And good for him. We get a video vignette. I mean, a video package to the wedding of InDex wedding. So the wedding happened. This is what ended the show, folks. If you need more validation of, oh, this is Vince McMahon's NXT, along with Bruce Pritchard, John Laurinaitis, here's another example of it as well. A fucking wedding segment on the show of NXT. Now, here's the thing: we knew there was going to be a wedding even before this man was in charge of this new NXT. That was, they've been having this thing up for during the time when Triple H was in charge of NXT. Now that Triple H is no longer in charge anymore, and now with Vince McMahon being in charge, when it pertains to his wedding segment being part on the show, yes, this is definitely Vince McMahon's NXT now. We went from NXT being a pro wrestling show to NXT becoming a sports entertainment show. So yeah, it happened. The winning of Indy Hartwell and Dexter Loomis, which according to the winning of InDex. And I'm gonna spare you the details and the notes of this, folks, because to be honest with you, after seeing all this, I can care less about this fucking segment. Fuck this segment. This was a letdown. After the wedding, Ciampa was backstage watching the wedding. I asked himself, why would Ciampa be celebrating after becoming the new NXT champion by celebrating of watching a wedding that. But this led to Braun Breaker showing up, walking up to Ciampa, congratulating him, and then Ciampa congratulates him on winning the match, his debut match, and then he offers a handshake to Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker shakes his hand, and they start staring down at each other, and Ciampa and Breaker are looking at each other eye to eye, and I think to myself, yep, that's gonna be the match for the NXT Championship title match, and it would not surprise me if Braun Breaker beats Tommaso Ciampa. Because and after that, I think Ciampa is done too. Speaking of what I also think is done, John Gargano and Candice Ray, of what I'm hearing, Gargano's contract is going to be running out, and so is Candice Ray's contract. It's going to be running out. It's going to be running out at the end of this year. And if you ask me, if Gargano and Candice Ray are done after this, yep, they are. They are officially done with WWE after this, unless they resign. But if they do resign, I do not see anything going well with Gargano's push in the WWE, especially on NXT with Vince McMahon in charge of it now, especially with Tommaso Ciampa. Because the thing about Gargano and Ciampa, the reason why they didn't want to go to the main roster in the first place is because of Vince McMahon, and it's because of how whenever NXT calls up happens, they always fail to push those guys, and because they always keep changing them. Now, luckily, they did right with Damian Priest. I'll give them that with Jensen Damian Priest. They did him right. But as far as anyone else, they have dropped the ball with every last one of them, especially when it comes to Shinsuke Nakamura, especially when it comes to Bobby Roode, especially where it comes to Ember Moon, and and here's another example: Keith Lee carrying a cross. And then you see Dakota Kai, how she was buried, on the main roster as well on the main event. Listen to Aliyah with the shittiest DT I've ever seen in my entire life. So yeah, we'll see what happens, folks. We'll see what happens. It's up to them at the end of the day. But if you ask me, I think they're done. Kyle Ryan might be done. John Gargano might be done. Cancer Ray might be done. Tommaso Ciampa might be done. Even Samoa Joe might be done. Drake Magic might be done. So yeah, as far as pertains to this new NXT, I'm hearing there's gonna be more. You know, I gotta do it. I gotta do it, folks. These quote unquote budget cuts coming up, which means it's gonna happen to NXT, and it would not surprise me if I see those names that I just named you gone, along with other ones that might be gone that I'm not thinking of, because this is the new NXT where it's not gonna be about small guys and indie wrestlers, that's all about pro wrestling at the end of the day. So yeah, Samoa Joe might be fire again. And think about it, the reason why Samoa Joe came back to WWE was because of Triple H, because Triple H was in charge of NXT. Not anymore. Triple H is no longer in charge of NXT. Vince McMahon is. Triple H has been kicked to the curb. So Samoa Joe is once again deep waters where he's done. His WWE career could be done. Now, will he come back to have a match for the NXT Championship title? I don't know if he is or not, because again, we don't know when he's going to come back, because we don't know what his injury is. That's the thing. Usually we do know what injury he's had, why he had to he had to be gone, but during this case, he says his history of injuries came back to haunt him, but we don't know what. He never mentioned it. He never even gave us a hint of what it could be. So who knows what it could be? But to me, I don't think there's no injuries at all. I think it's all just of this man's shadiness, just to get the belt off of Samoa Joe, because he never liked Samoa Joe. He never want anything to do with Samoa Joe. He never trusted Samoa Joe. Pertains to for someone to do something with. He always views him as a utility guy, where he's a good hand sometimes, but at the end of the day, he's not gonna do anything with Samoa Joe. So I think Samoa Joe's done again. And if that's the case, good. Let Samoa Joe go then, and then come to AEW. Because to be honest with you, that's what Samoa Joe should have went in the first place when he first got fired on this past year. He should have went to AEW. Now, none of us could have known this was going to happen with NXT, which will basically getting the boot, and Vince McMahon being in charge of NXT now. Who we had no knowledge that this was going to happen. Not even Triple H part on even know this was going to happen. So it's unfortunate, but Vince McMahon always says it is what it is, and it pertains to the change of NXT. If you don't like it, too bad. That's this is the NXT we're going to be doing now. Deal with it, and that's all there is to it. It's unfortunate, folks, but it is what it is. As far as the show was, but minus their wedding segment, and a couple of things I nitpick as well. Not a bad show. Not a bad show at all. I thought the show was good. I thought the show had a nice flow, a nice theme, and that's all there is to it. Five matches to 6, 7, 8 matches. My God, that's what I'm talking about wrestling for this show. And also on top of that, as for it being a 2-hour show too, because it's USA Network. So 8 matches we're talking about wrestling. Yeah, especially when it pertains to one tag team match, and then it ends up becoming a 6-woman tag team match, I should say. So there you go. But my overall strength for the show, the way they drag it up for me, if it wasn't for the wedding segment, I would have given it an 8 out of 10. But because of the wedding segment, 6.5 out of 10. And with that being said, folks, I'm nearly done. Thank you all for watching. For It's the Natural Born Scream Driller saying peace on the streets, and for all you to stay well, stay safe, take care of yourself, everything that's going on in the world, wear your mask, wear your gloves, like I just did there. Um, get vaccinated, and also be better, respectful, appreciative, and love one another. God bless one another. Live in peace and harmony for us all. Well, I am out here, folks. You all take care. For this is the new NXT. Pertains to this man, Bruce Pritchard, John Laurinaitis, pertains to taking over WWE NXT called NXT 2.0 because it's like watching Nickelodeon Double Dare, Nickelodeon Figure It Out, or Nickelodeon All That, or watching some TV shows like the Rugrats, the Rugrats, Doug, Rocket Power, the Wild Thornberries, Timmy, that's very odd parents, very odd parents, Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. That's what I meant to say too, by the way. You can name them all. Our Real Monsters, Ren and Stimpy, except it's more PG. And then there's you know TV PG. I mean PG-13, whatever. It's not that. Yeah. Take care.